It is the fourth model introduced in the 2024 Grendizer U collaboration with Metarot S, sporting the likeness of the Vega Beast King BaniBani. It is GDU03 Vega-K BaniBani, with an almost entirely new kit across the board of Whip, Mud Blow, Anti-Sea, Sea Legs, and a new leg ability of Marine Up, which, when on aquatic terrain exclusively, applies a 30% boost to all leg stats, minus armor and heavy limit, but also applies the auto charge and auto repair leg abilities to stealth. Now, out of all the Grendizer U models introduced so far, Vega-K is probably going to be the most terrifying of all of them. Not necessarily on grounds of being aesthetically intimidating, and it mostly is to a degree, but as far as what he brings to the table and just how easily he can use his skills, he brings a lot to the table that will make him a new terror to anyone that is fighting either on aquatic terrain, or anyone that even isn't can be subjected to anti-sea weaknesses. Whip on the head part is a brand new skill being introduced into the game, which upon attacking the target will inflict them with a hold status, which is a 25% debuff to the enemy's heat and cool stats, but also apply them with a no dodge penalty. So this means that while afflicted with this ailment, that means that any hits incoming are guaranteed to land, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. No dodging, no grazing. They can still guard to try to defend against the action, but they can't dodge and have to take every action at the face. And the suction effect also allows Vega-K to be able to pull enemies closer to him in order to have kind of a hand in crowd control to him. So while if timed correctly, this means that you can essentially stall an enemy's cooldown almost indefinitely if you time it correctly. If mistimed, it does mean you could also accidentally pull an enemy closer to you and accelerate their heat phase to almost instant completion, which may or may not throw a kink in your plans if you are not already planning for it or prepared. Mud Blow on the right arm is the other new skill that Vega-K is bringing to the game, and much like it is with other skills where it's not necessarily a new skill but defined as such, all it really is just a melee version of Mud Shot. And to explain Mud Blow specifically, essentially upon attacking the target, it will inflict them with a Mud status, which is very, very unique in the sense that it behaves similarly to Tornado in how it converts the leg's leg type. Now, instead of Tornado converting a leg type from whatever it is to flight, Mud will change the opponent's leg type to D rank and aquatic, or more or less aquatic terrains, until attacked, which sets this one significantly apart from most other ailments. So this means that if you can go an entire match without touching an opponent after inflicting Mud, they're going to be stuck with it until it's removed. However, it does also mean that while with their leg type changed to Sea, it does mean that they are also subject to anti-Sea weakness, very similarly to how Leafeton did so with Mud Shot and Anti-Sea as well from Mr. Aggro. And, wouldn't you know it, Vega-K is also packing Anti-Sea for a left arm skill, which does significantly higher bonus damage to any kind of enemy to enemies that are using C-type legs. Or, if they're not using C-type leg, Vega-K can make that problem disappear very, very easily with inflicting Mud Blow first, and then coming back with Anti-Sea on top of that to lay waste to anyone that falls within his domain. On the topic of his domains, though, Marine Up is another brand new leg ability, which, putting it simply, behaves extremely similarly to how Amir Magus' Forest Up behaves. So this means that while on aquatic-based terrain, your sea legs are already going to be getting the S rank anyway, but Vega-K's Marine Up already takes that a step further, where when he's on river or watery terrains, he's gone. You may as well not even bother trying to find him, because he is going to be out of there. With an additional 30% or more to all of his stats, auto charge for free CG fill every turn, and auto repair, which gives him HP restoration as long as he's got charge in his gauge to pull from. As far as leg stats are concerned, though, he is pretty solid as far as sea legs are concerned, with a base mobility of 758, which is above average for where most sea legs tend to want to sit. Almost just over 1900 for his evade, which is very, very nice for sea legs as a whole, and more or less par for the course for sea legs in general. But having a melee resist of 1691 and a shoot resist of 1033 does kind of put him in kind of a middle ground here, where he can most certainly hold his own up close and personal. But taking hits from afar is probably going to be the better way to take him out more than anything else. Plus, even though he can inflict change opponents' leg types to sea and then punish for it, he also is capable of the anti-sea weaknesses as well as a sea-based leg. But a heavy limit of 2 and only having 1 heavy part as a pure set is still worth noting, though, as a very solid leg all around. As far as armor is concerned, he's actually quite tanky across the board, though, with a head armor of 4619, right arm at 4200, left arm at almost 4400, and legs at just over 4700 means that this Beast King is going to be pretty tough to take down if you're not packing something to be able to counter the C-type leg weakness. But just be sure that you're not falling weakness to that on your own time when he uses Mud Blow first to really mess up your terrain compatibility and then punish you before the ailment can be removed. All this being said, though, as a pure set score, I have to say, out of most of the other models of the Grendizer U collaboration so far, I have to rate him probably one of the highest at a solid 8 out of 10 across the board. He's very synergetic onto himself between Mud Blow and Anti-Sea. Whip can be extremely useful for that hold penalty of the heat and cool debuff and the no dodge, and the suction effect might be a little iffy to use, but can be used to very good conditions if juggled correctly. But sea legs with Marina means, like I said, if you're fighting on watery terrain, he's gone. There is no chance of you touching this fellow whatsoever, and it is going to be his turf that you're walking into. Even despite this, though, I do have to mention that he does have that weakness to anti-sea, like I said, so a little caution is advised, but that's also assuming you can actually touch him. Because with a base evade at over 1900, before any other bonuses come into play, he's already going to be nigh untouchable when it comes to hitting marine terrain. As mixed parts, I do have to rate him equally at an 8 out of 10 for these same reasons. Mud Blow and Anti-Sea, both of them non-heavy at that, means you can use them basically anywhere for extreme and incredible coverage to put Anti-Sea meta back on the map. But I gotta say, his legs are probably going to be the biggest MVP part here, because that marine up is going to be extremely hard to argue against when it comes to bringing it on aquatic terrains in particular, and just what kind of stat bonuses you can bring when marine up does trigger.